largest payouts on the planet. The World Poker Tour is a series of international high-stakes poker tournaments that can turn amateur players into millionaires and make professionals into superstars. With $4.5 million on the line, it's time for these 6 players to live the dream.
In Los Angeles, the land of the stars, there's a poker legend in the making. Tonight, on the World Poker Tour.
Hi everyone, welcome to the World Poker Tour. I'm Mike Sexton along with Vince Van Patten, and we're at the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California for the final table of the Legends of Poker.
And Mike, it is good to be back. This is my hometown of Los Angeles, and they don't call this the Legends of Poker for nothing, this event. Because you go back a couple seasons, and guess who played the event? That's right, the legendary Doyle Brunson, a living legend, and he took the title.
But you don't have to be a legend to win, Vince. Last year's champion, Alex Kahaner, came into this tournament as an underdog, but he walked off with the title and over $1 million.
Now, this has always been one of the most popular events on the World Poker Tour, but this year, the Bicycle Casino actually doubled the entry from $5,000 to $10,000, and believe it or not, we still had 460 players.
We are down to our final 6 players, including 2 former WPT champions, the Alabama Cowboy Hoyt Corkins and the Prince of Poker, Scotty Wynn.
Yeah, but standing between them and their dream of a second WPT title are 2 seasoned pros and 2 talented amateurs, all fighting for their own shot at fame and fortune.
So here we go. The horses in the starting gate. The Legends of Poker final table about to begin.
Let's go back and talk about Chris Karagoulian, Season 1. Took this event, and you know what he won, Mike? $258,000. Nothing to sneeze at, but you think about how far this has grown. Today, the winner's going to take home over $1.6 million. Action's going to be on young Joe Pelton.
100.
He's got a pair of 3s, Vince, and he's betting $100,000 under the gun. Many players fold small pairs in that spot, not this youngster.
Chip leader Frankie Odell folds, Randy Holland, and now the Prince of Poker, Scotty Wynn, looking down at Dolly Parton, 9-5. Can't like it much.
He lays it down over to Hoyt Corkins, the Alabama Cowboy, and he looks down at a pair of 9s on the button-in position.
2 wired pairs in the very first hand, and look at that stare down.
Yep, he's staring the youngster right down immediately, Vince. Joe not afraid to look at him, though, staring right back at him, sort of nonchalantly. The mid pair's tough to play, especially when the pot's been raised in front of you by a guy under the gun.
A very intimidating Hoyt Corkins, just making a call, though, not going to get aggressive with his 9s. And now the Irishman, Kevin O'Donnell, lays down his hands, so it's 2-way action. Joe Pelton with the 3s and Hoyt with the pair of 9s.
And both with intense looks on their face. Here comes the flop. Let's come Queen 10-7, no help to either player.
Action is going to be on Joe, and look at this. Very brazenly bets $200,000 with just a measly pair of 3s.
Oh boy, Vince, the power of youth. You're fearless when you're young, folks. And you see the problem Hoyt has now. 2 overcards out there. The guy raised before the flop. He's betting on the flop. He doesn't seem scared at all.
Cowboy looks like he just slipped in his stirrups there. Just the pair of 9s, and
well,
no, he's got to go out.
Vince, he was just outplayed there.
Yep.
You got to chalk it up to the youngster for staying aggressive with that hand. That's why he won that pot. He raised before the flop. He continued to fire on the flop. He took it down. Nice play by Joe Pelton.
Oh, yes, very happy to take that pot. A lot of heart to make that bet. And Joe Pelton, 29 years old, out of Newport Beach, California, a business analyst, not a professional poker player. He got in this tournament through a $500 satellite, and he's got a chance today of taking home $1.6 million.
Vince, I'll tell you one thing. Hoyt Corkins has one of the most fearsome stares in the poker world. The kid just seemed unfazed by it. He fired out at that pot anyway.
What's really fun about Hoyt Corkins, if you look at him at the poker table, he is so dangerous looking. You know, he'll stare you down. You get a little nervous, but you see him in real life. He takes the hat off, and all of a sudden becomes a different man. He's very meek and mild, the sweetest guy in the world. Action's going to be right back on the chip leader, Frankie Odell from Long Beach, California. Looks at a Jack-3, can't play it.
Randy Holland, longtime poker pro, making his first WPT final table tonight. Lays his hand down.
And now Scotty with just a Jack-4. Does he want to push here with nothing? Nope.
Back around to Hoyt on the button. Looks at a king 3 offsuit.
And he sees everyone else folding before him, and there it goes with a raise.
Yep, he's going to make it 100,000 to go.
Kevin O'Donnell in the small blind. He's got 9-10. He's got a little money in the pot, so he's considering this.
What's impressive about Kevin O'Donnell, Vince, is he was at this final table 1 year ago in the same event, finished 6th in, looking to move up on that spot tonight, but very impressive.
Well, he's gone out, and Joe Pelton, only one to beat. He's got big slick, ace-king. Tremendous hand.
Oh, Vince, he just pelted Hoyt on the last hand. He might do so again right here.
Ooh, look at him now. He's looking back at Hoyt to see how real he is.
All in.
All in with big slick.
Well, I'll tell you.
That'll make the saddlebag shrink up a bit.
Well, there's no way Hoyt's going to play for all his money here with a king 3 offsuit.
Oh, just playing games there, he's saying. And just like that, back-to-back, Joe Pelton, the non-professional, taking 2 hands in a row. Well, he's just out-Hoyted Hoyt. That's a Hoyt move.
Well, we're talking about a guy that's come 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in World Poker Tour events, Hoyt Corkins, but right now getting hammered by this youngster.
You look at Joe Pelton, too. You know, he is from Newport Beach, California. I mean, that is yacht land, you know? I mean, you got to wear white shoes when you're around there.
I like that, hey.
And he looks the part, doesn't he?
He'll look the part if he wins this tournament tonight, Vince. He'll be right down to yacht dealership. Well, Vince, for the first time in a long time, we've only got one guy in their 20s at this final table tonight. A lot of old school guys at this table. Of course, I'm old school, so I like to see it once in a while.
All right, back to the table on the Irishman. Bar owner out of Arizona, Kevin O'Donnell, takes a peek at 10-6 offsuit. Doesn't play it.
Well, Joe Pelton looks down at king-queen offsuit. Pretty reasonable hand here, but he opts to lay it down.
Chip leader Frankie Odell going out with 6 tray.
Round to the button, Randy Holland looks down at an ace-jack. Nice hand on the button.
Especially since everyone else folded before you. And the Canadians getting out chips, it appears.
Well, Randy, a longtime poker pro, former lawyer.
Make it 125,000.
He's going to raise it, and a healthy raise, Vince. 125,000 to go here.
Now Scotty Wynn has got ace-4 in the small blind.
Now Scotty on the short stack. Very unlucky, I might add, to be on the short stack here. Played a giant pot with Frankie Odell last night. Scotty had 2 aces. Frankie had 2 jacks. Frankie hit runner to make it straight to win that pot, but don't count Scotty out. He knows how to play.
Well, right now he's saying, hey, is the button just trying to pressure us and try to steal this? I could be out in front.
Well, many players on a short stack would have already been in there with this hand, but what a good laydown by Scotty Wynn there. He gets away from it, Vince.
Very solid, and the only one to beat is Hoyt, but Hoyt's got a hand. He's got the pair of 9s again.
Well, that's the hand he had on hand 1 that he laid down against Joe Pelton, but he's not laying him down here. He's moved all in.
He says all in, and why not?
Now, Randy Holland has seen Hoyt play the first 2 hands at this final table and lose them both. What he's got to figure out now is the guy steaming, as we say, is he on tilt or does he really have that big a hand here?
Now let's talk about Randy. Randy doesn't have that many chips either. About 500,000. Does he want to go all in with this? This would be a coin flip situation.
Well,
if he should make this call.
It's going to cost Randy all his chips if he plays this pot and loses it. He knows that. He'll be eliminated from this tournament if he plays this pot and loses it.
You know, he's been playing a lot of World Poker Tour events. It's the first time at a final table, but he's known throughout the poker circuit. A great player. And look at Hoyt. I mean, is that a poker face or what? Just can't tell what the heck it is, what he's thinking, what he's got.
Vince, based on the aggressive style of Hoyt Corkins,
We have 7.
Randy's got to be thinking he could very well have the best hand in this situation. Taking Randy 5 years to make it to a WPT final table, Vince. He's here, and you know he doesn't want to go out now.
Well, it takes him 5 years to get here, 5 minutes to get out. Get out of this one.
I'll tell you. But that's what Hoyt Corkins does to you, folks. He'll make you squirm in your seat. I don't care who you are. If you're Phil Hellmuth or anybody else in the poker world, it doesn't matter to him. He comes over the top with all-in bets consistently. He puts pressure on you, and looking at him, you decide. You take a look at Hoyt. Could you figure it out?
This This might be my last, my best place to make a stand, Hoyt.
You can see Randy wants to play this hand, Vince, but will he play it for all his chips?
All right.
Oh, and look, he's going to make the laydown.
Tough decision for Randy right there. To chalk one up to the Cowboy, Vince. He's back in the saddle, at least for the while.
Ace queen. See that big hand? He haven't come over top of me all day.
He put him on ace queen. Hoyt put him on ace queen. We know he had ace jack, so pretty good guess there by Hoyt.
You know, I'm looking at you up on the screen. Well, you're a good-looking son of a gun when you're stone-faced.
You had an ace king?
6 players remain at the Legends of Poker at the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action in just a moment.
Scotty Wynn, the guy's a legend.
The legend's in the house. Move on. This is my comfort zone. How sweet that is, baby. The PUPT racer, baby. That's what I'm proud of. You know what I mean? This is it, baby. Second one again coming up next.
Scotty Wynn's on the short stack, so right now he's harmless, but that can change.
Yes, baby!
I'm telling you, he's very dangerous. I really don't like him at the table. I'd rather not be there.
All that you don't like no money.
I'd just as soon pet a rattlesnake as have Scotty Wynn at the table.
Welcome back to the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California. The Legends of Poker continues. 6 players remain.
That includes 2 former World Poker Tour champions in Scotty Wynn and Hoyt Corkins. They're sitting in seats 1 and 2. The monster chip leader, however, is Frankie Odell.
From Long Beach, California, playing very tight so far.
You got it, baby.
Action's on Joe Belton.
They come around very soon, baby. Don't worry. He's coming.
He looks down at a 9-8, lays it down.
Chip leader Frankie Odell playing tight, throws away Jack 7. Mr. Holland's Opus goes out with King 9 there.
Round to Scotty now on the button. He's got Jack 3 of diamonds.
Did somebody say in over there?
Uh-oh.
You know we have to give the fan what they like.
Is he going to do it?
Later, okay?
Oh,
Wow.
no.
It looked like he was going to move all in there with a Jack 3, but opts to wait for a better spot.
And now Hoyt Corkins in the small blind. He's got ace 7, just calling here.
Wow. A little surprised by that, trying to camouflage it, meaning if an ace comes on the flop, his opponent's not going to give him credit for one.
Kevin with Jack 9, content to see the flop. He's not going to raise, so we have two-way action. Here we go.
Oh, and look at this, Vince. Hoyt has flopped 3 sevens. He's flopped the slot machine here, and he's quickly checked. Kevin checks right behind him very quickly, though.
Prairie song's going off in the Cowboys' head right now.
Now a 10 comes off. Gives Kevin a gut shot straight draw, but Hoyt is going to bet here.
Hoyt's going to bet a little nibble here, 30,000. He gets a quick call here by the Irishman, Kevin O'Donnell.
Call.
He's got an inside straight draw with this.
He's got to catch an 8 to win this pot. See if he can do it.
No good neighbor low bets today.
Down to the river, a queen comes up. No help to Kevin.
Let's see what Hoyt's going to do here. Remember, he bet out on the turn and he got called.
He's got his 3 of a kind. You're so excited. The only problem is you have to act first. You can't really chance to check, you would think, in case the guy checks behind you. And here comes a bet of 86,000.
Well, Kevin O'Donnell cannot make a call here with this hand. Doesn't mean he couldn't re-raise if he thinks Hoyt doesn't have much, or he can try to take the pot away from him.
Well, it's not immediately going out. Is he considering a little larceny here?
Check, bet.
You know, he's got zip and pip, and now he's talking out loud.
This would not be the time to make a move, because I can assure you Hoyt is going to look him up if he makes a play at the pot here.
It's weather like in Alabama right now, Hoyt. Sonny?
Now he's doing a little bit of talking. If you're going to make a re-raise, I think he's showing too much right now.
Well,
Unless you're an unbelievable actor. No, he has to go out now.
the Cowboys had the handkerchief down over his mouth there, didn't say a word.
Don't you get to the queen?
Kevin does lay the hand down.
No, I said it if I had a queen. You think I'm not in there?
You would think that
That's
Hoyt,
right, I've let you get
if he
there.
could do it again, would have just checked in hopes that Kevin would bluff at the pot. But since Kevin called him on the turn, he thought he might get called again at the river.
if I got any
He let out and bet. He takes down the pot.
Action's going to be on Scotty.
Now Scotty looks down at suited connectors. He's got the 9-8 of diamonds. It's the kind of hand you like to see flops with. The problem is when you're on the short stack like Scotty, you're handcuffed. You just don't have enough chips to make moves, to bet on the flop, the turn in the river. Basically, you got to wait for a hand, get your chips in the pot, and that's what Scotty's going to do here. Lays his hand down.
That position being first to act to a troubling spot, so he can't play it. Hoyt going out. And now Kevin O'Donnell with a pretty uneventful 10-6 offsuit caps his cards.
And that generally indicates the guy wants to play the hand, Vince. Would he raise with his junk hand? He is doing it.
Huh.
Oh, going for the Gus Hansen Award tonight.
Joe going out. And the one to beat is going to be the chip leader, Frankie O'Dell. He's got a hand, though. Ace-Jack of diamonds.
I call.
And he is going to make the call with the Ace-Jack of diamonds. Now around to Randy Holland. He's got the King-6 of hearts, but he's opting to get out.
So it's not going to be easy for Kevin O'Donnell with 10-6 up against Frankie with Ace-Jack of diamonds.
Good luck, buddy.
We've got the two chip leaders taking a battle here. Frankie finally coming out to play.
Well, flop is 8-7-3. No real help for either player. Does give Kevin a gut shot straight draw. Frankie checks the Ace-Jack.
Yeah, not horrible there for Kevin. Inside straight draw. Got a man checking before him. Does he want to get courageous here?
200.
He's betting right into the chip leader here, and he fires out 200,000.
Look at one more.
And look at this. I'll call one more. Now, usually you hear that in a home game, and a guy usually means it when he says that. And with his hand, it's the kind of hand that you would go one more.
What a call this is by Frankie O'Dell here. Remember, he's going up against the guy who's second in chips and calls him with an Ace-Jack on an 8-7-3 flop.
Here's the turn card.
Well, the board pairs eights. That's no help for either player. Action's on Frankie here.
$300,000.
Wow.
And he's betting 300,000 here, Vince, with just the ace high. He's taking the play away from Kevin O'Donnell here. Had he checked, Kevin might have fired at this pot.
Well, the line, I'll go one more, and now betting. Very sneaky, very imaginative.
Well, Kevin O'Donnell, it'd be hard to put your opponent on a pair in this situation. Otherwise, why wouldn't he have raised you back on the flop?
Unless you had a tremendous hand, you flopped a set or something like that.
Well, he's a little suspicious here, Vince. You can see it in his look and mannerisms at the table. The guy didn't raise before the flop. He just checked and called on the flop, and all of a sudden on the turn, he comes out betting 300,000.
But the bad news is you really have nothing there, Kevin.
Well, that's the real bad news for Kevin.
You know, and it's just sort of discouraging. You go, I think this guy's up to something, which he is. However, I got really nothing, which kind of hurts.
Kind of a small bet. You want to call?
Kevin is going to table talk a little bit.
I kept it friendly with you.
Well, you know, Kevin is a bar owner. You know, you have to be social at the bar. That's all it's about.
And I know you don't got nothing.
Wow.
He has hit the nail right on the head.
That always helps.
Bingo. You think Hoyt's intimidating at the table? Take a look at Frankie O'Dell there.
Oh.
Got the little derby hat on there, the sunglasses. Frankie's from the streets, my man. But it's good enough to take down this pot. Frankie O'Dell clapping for himself.
Got the Mexican flag in the audience being waved.
Game's out of the muck. Game's out of the muck.
Well, Frankie O'Dell has come to life, and his fans have too. He's got a lot of them here today, Vance.
Blind a couple times.
You know, he's of Mexican-American descent.
Too good to hand in.
He got the name O'Dell because his father was adopted by an Irishman, but Frankie O'Dell, not afraid to mix it up with anybody at the table. You saw him do it right there with Kevin O'Donnell.
I love poker, and I love to win. Omaha is the stress-free game to me because you're not going to be like all in and then boom. Yeah! Woo! I'm free rolling, homie. This is the American dream.
Right now, Frankie Odell extending his lead. He's got about $4.3 million in front. Back to the table on Joe Pelton. He's got 8-7 offsuit. Not going to play it. And now here comes Chatty Cathy there. Frankie Odell.
I know the way you stand up and you didn't, you know, you just
Get your voice back when you win some pots.
Yes. Not much.
Got 6-4 diamonds.
No, he loved the chip more.
He's not going to speculate. He goes out.
Randy Holland lays his hand down.
And here's my knuckles, man.
And now the Prince of Poker, Scotty Wynn, with a button and a wired pair of threes. Look out. Short stacked with under 400,000. Everyone folding. You got your pair of threes. How is the Prince of Poker going to play it?
Raise.
And he is going to raise it.
And he's going to raise it, but not a big raise, Vince. Only makes it 80,000 to go with the pair.
You know that's my big blind, right?
Into the Cowboy Hoyt.
No, I only see that lie there.
Nothing 6 deuce. He can't play it. So he's got to beat the Irishman, Kevin O'Donnell. He's got a junky 4-9 of hearts.
And he's got 30,000 out there in the big blind. Cost him 50,000 more to make the call.
You know, baby, you touch some, you got to give some.
Will he speculate with this and put in another 50 to take a shot? Yes, he does.
Well, he's getting almost 3-to-1 odds on his money. 143,000 out there. So he is going to take a flop.
I got no fans, Hoyt. Nobody loves me.
He wants to catch lucky. Here come the first 3.
Flop comes ace, queen, 7. No help to either player.
Kevin first to act. Nothing materializing. But he's considering this. Is he going to make a play here with his zip and pip?
150.
Wow, what a bet here.
Oh, Scotty wincing.
Well, he's wincing because there's no way he can call with 2
You
threes.
should move into me before the flop, baby.
He's wincing. He didn't move all in before the flop, Vince. That's what he's really wincing about. But
I should have. I just got greedy.
Well, there you go. He said it. I should have gone, pushed it hard, but I got greedy.
he got greedy, but right now he's getting outplayed by Kevin O'Donnell. Scotty does lay it down.
Yeah, that's right. So the bar owner, restaurateur from Scottsdale, Arizona, Kevin O'Donnell, making a smooth play right into the great Scotty Wynn.
And I never have to do those small pairs either.
Well, Vince, you watch Kevin O'Donnell here. It looks like he was watching the tapes of the 3-time WPT champion Gus Hansen. The way he's playing at this final table, he's betting and raising with anything.
Don't go away. The battle for the big bucks in Los Angeles continues right after this.
Players come from around the world to play at Legends of Poker at the Bicycle Casino. Our turnout was phenomenal. All the big names showed up this year for Legends of Poker, as they always do. Our prize pool this year is $4.4 million. Our first place winner is going to win $1.6 million and legendary status. There's always another millionaire made on the World Poker Tour.
Welcome back to the Bicycle Casino, where the riders keep shifting their gears in this race for the nearly $1.6 million first prize.
Well, it does look like an uphill race for some, Vince. Let's check the chip count and get back to the table.
And right now, Frankie Odell with $4.3 million is still our chip leader. Kevin O'Donnell with about $2.2 million.
So Frankie Odell, a whopping chip lead. Nearly half the chips on the table are in his stack. It's like first and goal for him here, Vince, at this final table. But some of these other guys, like Scotty and Randy, it's 4th and 25, and it's getting late in the game for them. They got to make something happen.
Action's going to be on the man from Long Beach, California. Frankie Odell got an unimpressive 4-3, lays it down.
Over to Randy Holland. He looks down at Jack 10 of spade, the suited connectors.
Well, he doesn't have that many chips either, about 4 1/4. Does he want to make a move? Yes, he does. He goes all in with it.
Wow, moving all in over 400,000 with the Jack 10.
Now the other short stack, Scotty, with King 10 in his hand. I think he's disappointed that Randy made that move in front of him. He was going to make the move if Randy didn't.
It's one thing to make the move. It's another to call a move when somebody else has made it.
It is troubling.
Scotty's going to lay his hand down.
He has been foiled, and now Hoyt Corkins with a queen deuce of spades goes out. Kevin O'Donnell looks at a king 7 in the small blind.
The guy used to making plays at this final table. Not going to call here.
And Joe Pelton goes away. So just like that, Randy Holland finally taking his first pot here tonight.
Good job, pocket aces.
Randy Holland, a longtime poker pro, has had good success in this casino. In fact, he's a former best all-around player here at the Legends of Poker, and he would love nothing more than to capture this title.
This is my first cash in the World Poker Tour. It's a little bit embarrassing. I think I play more than 15, so to finally make a final table is kind of a relief.
Well, Vince, I gotta say, it's nice for an event on the World Poker Tour not to have all 20-year-olds at the final table. We got guys like Randy Holland, Scotty Wynn, Hoyt Corkins, 28 years of pro. Frankie Odell been playing a long time. Good to see the old guys here.
On Randy Holland, looks down at a 6-4, throws it away.
Over to Scotty. He looks down at the Broderick Crawford, the 10-4, lays it down.
And that's okay with
Cowboy Hoyt out with Queen 7. Game tightening up a bit. Kevin O'Donnell, King 9 of spades. And people folding in front of him. King 9 of spades with the button.
130.
Yeah, it's worth a stab. He's going to go up.
Well, I don't blame him for raising here. 130,000, he makes it.
130.
Now right behind him, Joe Pelton in the small blinds got a pretty decent ace-jack.
400.
And he says 400,000 to go.
Wow, he comes right over the top. What a nice raise here by Joe Pelton.
Frankie's squeezing down at his hand. He's got a 3 deuce of clubs.
Much he'd like to get involved in the party. Can't do so this time. Lays it down.
Now and now back on the Kevin O'Donnell. Cost him 270,000 more to see the flop.
You got 6 left, Joe.
Well, he does have more chips than his opponent, Joe Pelton, but do you want to commit that many chips with just a King 9? It's sort of a trouble hand, then. So even if you hit a king, for example, on the flop, you may not have the best hand even then.
All right.
But he is going to make the call. He's come to play tonight, Vince, no doubt about it. Kevin O'Donnell making the call with the King 9 of spade. Pulls down the sunglasses. So it's the battle of the shades here.
King 9 versus ace-jack. Here's the flop.
Well, flop comes ace 7-7 with 2 clubs.
Well, that is just sweet there for Joe Pelton, hitting top pair of aces. And he's first to make a move if he desires. He's thinking about it.
A lot of money out there. Well over 800,000 in this pot.
Will he play it sneaky?
300.
He's going to bet, and I don't blame him for betting here.
He wants value. He wants a payoff. And Kevin, no theatrics there, just going away very quietly. Saying, I understand.
I think Joe should have made a bet right there. In case your opponent's got an underpair or something, you wouldn't want to give him a free card, or they could hit something to beat you.
Like the fun.
A lot of money out there in that pot. I'll tell you, you never know this guy won a $500 satellite to get into this tournament the way he's playing here at this final table. Really performing well so far. And Vince, earlier, to get to this final table, he put a bad beat on our good friend Gabe Kaplan. That's how he got a hold of his chips and stayed alive, was outdrawing Gabe. Joe taking advantage of that situation now.
All right, back to the table. This is a good one so far. Action on the very cheery Kevin O'Donnell.
Yes, sir.
Looks down at the 8-6, throws it away.
Joe Pelton now, Queen 4, can't play it.
Frankie Odell, he's going to lay down 6 high.
And Mr. Holland's opus here, Randy, Queen 9 of diamonds.
Well, on the button, in position.
Will he make a move here? He's pretty short stacked.
Well, some guys might move in with that hand. Randy opting to lay it down.
Probably smart because right behind him, Scotty Wynn with big slick ace king has gone all in.
Yes, he has, man. He's on the short stack here. Got about $250,000 in chips. Moves all in with the ace king. But right behind him, Hoyt Corkins has picked up ace high himself. And Vince Hoyt has got to be thinking that his ace high could very well be good in this situation. He knows Scotty short stacked, could be a little desperate. Trying to pick up a pot here.
He's considering this.
247, yes.
Because of the WPT Hole Cam brought to you by Budweiser, we can see Scotty has Hoyt dominated here. He is going to make the call here, Vince.
Yeah, the chips are going in. He's not going to like it. And looks like a big opportunity for Scotty Wynn to double up.
Boy, it sure does. The Prince of Poker, Scotty Wynn, in great shape to double up here.
Okay, Scotty. I just got dry eyes.
Huh?
I just got dry eyes.
And the Cowboy Hoyt looking at that, wincing as he sees the ace-king up against his ace-7. He's going to need some luck here.
Not the hand Hoyt wanted him to have, I can assure you of that. Scotty, not quite a 3-1 favorite to win this hand, but just about.
Can he do it? Stay tuned. We're coming back with the conclusion of this hand in just a moment.
Nice hand, Scott. Good luck, baby.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. The living legend Scotty Nguyen out in front with his ace-king.
These are two WPT champions going at it here. Scotty holding his breath right now. Just wants his hand to hold up.
5 cards to come. Let's take a look at the first 3.
So far, so good.
Nice one for Scotty. His ace-king comfortably out in front.
And he's got to dodge a 7 here, or 2 running cards to give his opponent a straight.
Thank you.
Turn card. Here it is.
Oh, it's a 7. You saw Scotty wince there when that popped up.
Oh.
He's saying, how can this happen to me? With 7 players left, I played nearly a $4 million pot with 2 aces against 2 jacks. I lost. Here I've got ace-king against ace-7. If I don't catch a king, I'm out.
Devastating card there, but here comes the river. It's a jack of spades. It's not going to be good for Scotty.
Good luck, baby.
He is out of this.
Unbelievable bad luck for Scotty Nguyen here at this final table. But still, you got to take your hat off to this guy, the only player in poker to make it to a final table on the World Poker Tour in all 5 seasons. Former WPT champion. Scotty Nguyen acknowledging the crowd. He's saying, baby, I can't do any more than that.
Great Scotty Nguyen. The legend has been body bagged. He will pick up $133,000 for his efforts. He has been catapulted out of this event. He is the 6th place finisher, and right now he's up to talk to Sabina.
Thank you. So, Scotty, you went in with the best hand. I guess it just wasn't your day today?
No, you know, plus I don't have no chip. You know, I have very short stack and the play is so high, and I come in with the best hand, but, you know, it's happened. That's the way poker run, you know, baby. Yeah, I just love to play the WPT event, you know, and always next time, baby.
I'm sure we'll be seeing you soon. Thank you very much.
And what's interesting, you go back to that last hand, Randy Holland was thinking about going all in. He was short stacked with queen down of diamonds. He would have hit it straight.
Well, he would have made the straight, Vince. He would have won the pot, and I'm sure right now he's wishing he'd have been the one to knock Scotty Nguyen out instead of Hoyt.
Right now, the chip leader is Frankie Odell, as usual. He's got close to $4.3 million. Hoyt Corkins still in his saddle. He's got about $1.1 million.
Randy Holland on Mr. Holland's opus right now here. He's on the short stack with about $400,000. Needs to make something happen soon.
Back to the money pit. It's on Joe Pelton. 6-3. Nope, he's going away.
Frankie Odell lays down an ace high. Pretty interesting.
There's nobody left in my rent district anymore here, is there?
And now Randy Holland. 2 guys folding. You got ace-3 with the button. Last time he almost made the move with queen 9 of diamonds. He would have won that.
Well, Vince, now we're down to 5. All the other players well over $1 million in chips.
I guess it's my turn to go all in.
And he's going to do it. He's moving all in with the ace high. Can't fault him for going all in this spot, probably.
No, he's going to push this time. Now Hoyt in the small blind with just a 4-3.
424, I think.
Not the kind of hand you're going to call an all-in bet with, that's for sure.
All right, and the last one to beat is Kevin O'Donnell.
Randy.
But he's got a real hand. He's got ace-queen of diamonds.
You know, in the interview, I told him that I did not want to bump heads with you.
Just can't imagine he could lay this hand
You don't
down.
have to yet.
It's just not my nature.
Oh, I know it.
Look
And
at
the
this.
guy's got almost $2 million in chips. Even if he plays this pot and loses it, he's going to have about $1.5 million.
But we never ended up going to the flop.
I don't think we ever saw a flop.
No, I don't think we ever
Look at this. They're having a nice, very nice conversation together.
Well, Vince, for a guy that's played a lot of junk here tonight, he's finally picked up a hand, and now he's debating what to do.
5,000 coming around. I call.
He's going to call it finally.
Oh, he's got the ace.
Well, he made a begrudging call, but he's going to be very happy when Randy turns his hand up.
That's an automatic, Kevin.
Right now, that is Mr. Randy Holland's bupkis.
Everybody's telling him that was an automatic call. What were you taking so long for? I'd agree with him.
I'm running bad right now. So.
He is now dominating Randy, but we just saw what happened a minute ago when the man who was dominated won the pot. Will it happen twice in a row?
Good luck, buddy.
Mr. Holland has got his finger in the dam right now. He's in a bit of trouble.
Put a 3 up there. A lot of clubs.
Here comes a flop. Jack 10 deuce. No help for Randy so far. He's going to have to catch a 3 or 2 running cards to make a 5 high straight
Baby card up there.
if he's going to stay alive in this tournament.
Deuce is a baby card.
It's a 7 on the turn.
Come on, you're not tired of me yet, are you?
We are down to the river. Randy Holland must catch a 3 to stay alive in this tournament.
Can he get the ultimate suck-out card here at the bike?
Nope, it's the 8 of clubs. So just that quick, we've lost 2 players, Vince.
The bodies are adding up here at the Legends.
Longtime poker pro Randy Holland out in 5th place tonight.
$177,000 to Randy Holland, the former lawyer, saying goodbye. We are down to 4 players. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more on the World Poker Tour.
Do I have something to prove with the Legends? Yeah. Being here the 2nd year in a row.
All in.
You know what? You got to win.
I think you might have knocked your first guy out, Mr. James.
And if you're not the lead dog, you never changes. I'm going for the lead dog this year.
Welcome back to the Legends of Poker from the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles. I'm Vince Van Patten alongside Mike Sexton, and the antes and blinds are going up. $5,000 antes. The blinds will be 25 and 50 grand. Very colorful. Frankie Odell with over $4.1 million. It's going to be on him to act first.
I'm going to raise it.
Looks down at ace deuce of diamonds, announces I'm going to raise.
200,000.
He shoots 200,000 out there and then sits back in his chair with his arms crossed.
Next one to play is Hoyt Corkins, and he's got a real hand though. Ace queen with the button, and look at that look.
Well, he's staring Frankie down.
It mixed in with the white. It mixed in with the white.
You know, Hoyt Corkins had great success going all in out here on the World Poker Tour.
I'm all in.
And he's doing it again, Vince.
He says the 2 magic words, all in, and Kevin going out. Well, Joe Pelton looking down at Jack 4, can't play it.
Now the chip leader staring Hoyt down. He knows Hoyt can make this move with any 2 cards. Does he want to make a stand here with the ace deuce of diamonds against him?
Nice hand.
Nope, he lays it down, says nice hand, and that was a nice laydown by Frankie Odell there, Vince. Not going to get in a macho contest with Hoyt, at least not yet with that hand.
Very courteous Frankie Odell saying nice hand, and that's going to be good for the cowboy who puts those chips in his saddlebag.
Well, we've seen Hoyt Corkins have great success out here on the World Poker Tour by playing what we call big bet poker. He is not afraid to move all in with any 2 cards.
My name is Hoyt Corkins. I love to play on the World Poker Tour, and I love to go fishing. When I sit at the table, I like to bring personality and intensity to the game.
You're going to get some bad beats, you want to get it right here.
My style, it is a little bit intimidating. I like it and I play to it because it allows me the privilege of picking up a lot of small pots. The threat of the knockout, I can accumulate some chips that way. And, it works. All in. If I'm a feared man, maybe at the poker table, but that would be the only place. It's not that I don't want to be nice, because really I would love to be nice all the time.
Do it right, but I wouldn't going to put another penny in the pot.
When you do something professionally and you do it for a living, then you have to take it serious. It's like boxing or playing football. You got to play full speed. The competition is so fierce on the World Poker Tour, and if you don't bring full intensity, then you're not going to make it.
Down to 4 players going back to the table. Kevin O'Donnell picks up ace queen once again.
No.
Nice hand in a 4-handed poker game.
This is the hand that he busted out. Mr. Holland's opus, Randy, with just a few hands back.
And he's going to bet 100,000. That's the minimum raise. Blinds are now 25 and 50,000. He makes it 100,000 to go.
Joe Pelton quickly folding his queen 3. Frankie with 9-7 goes out.
That's around to Hoyt Corkins in the big blind. He looks down at 9-6 of spade, but
yeah, it's only a $50,000 raise. You're going to speculate with 9 with just anything.
Thinks he's getting priced in for the amount of money that's in the pot, and I agree with him. Well over 3-to-1 odds on his money. He's going to look at a flop.
Here come the first three.
Now flop comes 7, deuce, deuce with 2 spades. Hoyt Corkins has flopped the flush draw and checks.
Yep, he has 4 flushed it.
150.
And Kevin, who has just the ace queen, he's betting 150,000.
And betting it quickly, Vince. Many times when a guy bets quickly, they don't have it.
Hoyt, 4 flush in here. Does he have the chutzpah to push this guy around? We know he does, because he's Hoyt Corkins.
Hoyt's fiance, Natalie, sweating the action here. Actually, as the cards lie, Hoyt a slight favorite to win this pot. He's got a flush draw and 2 live cards, as we say, that he could pair to win it.
Kevin trying to act casual like he's strong.
I'm all in.
Oh, that's not what he wanted to hear.
Well, Hoyt Corkins does it again. He moves all in here, and he is really going to put the pressure on Kevin O'Donnell now with his ace high. And you see Natalie nervously awaiting the actions of Kevin O'Donnell here.
I have a feeling grabbing the wrong stack for that opening raise might have cost me a little money here.
Now you hear that? That is, of course, that's why he only raised 50. He grabbed the wrong stack. He thought he was going to raise a lot more.
Well, Vince, that's an amateur mistake, especially at this level. You're playing for $1.6 million. I would think you'd know what you're betting before you put your chips out there in this situation. Kevin acknowledging I might not have bet enough before the flop, and indeed, that looks like the case. When you bet a small amount and you raise a small amount, chances are the blinds are going to play with you. That means you can get outflopped or outplayed in the flop. That's what Hoyt's done to him here.
Yeah, the cowboy just sticks the old branding iron right on Kevin. Takes this pot.
He is a poker player, folks. Make no mistake about it. Going for his 2nd WPT title tonight. Playing great here so far.
I'm here with Hoyt's fiance, Natalie. Now, I know that he's played an awful lot of final tables, but this still must be really, really exciting for you.
Yeah, every time is just so nerve-wracking. There's so much money and so much pride at stake every time.
I know he's still hanging in there right now. I mean, how do you think he's going to do tonight?
I think if he really focuses, he can bring it home. I know that Frankie O'Dell has a big chip lead on him, but that's nothing that Hoyt can't overcome.
Well, we're rooting for him. Thanks for your time.
Well, the rodeo continues for the cowboy. He is raking in the chips. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more on the World Poker Tour.
Welcome back to the final table of the Legends of Poker at the Bicycle Casino. I'm Sabina Gadecki, and here's how the fight for a place in poker history has gone so far.
In Los Angeles, the Prince of Poker, Scotty Wynn, set a record for appearances on the WPT and then promptly disappeared courtesy of an Alabama cowboy. Next, journeyman poker pro Randy Holland beat the LA traffic by hitting the road when he couldn't hit his hand. Now, only 4 remain in the race for the $1.6 million first place prize. Can Hoyt Corkins capture a 2nd WPT title, or will the card steal a brand new legend?
And now back to our legendary hosts, Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten.
4 players remaining. Wynn is going to take home a little bit over $1.6 million. Frankie O'Dell still out in front with close to $4 million.
And with that last hand, Hoyt Corkins moves into 2nd place now. He's starting to look like the man to beat here. Action's going to be on Hoyt here.
He's got King 9, but he's going to quickly lay it down. Kevin O'Donnell laying down 9-3. So it's a battle of the blinds. Joe Pelton now looking down at Ace 4.
Well, he just limps in with the ace high here, Vince. Up against the chip leader.
And now Frankie O'Dell. He's got a wired pair of 6s here.
Wow, he checks. I'm a little surprised by that, Vince. You'd think the chip leader would be a little more aggressive against a guy who limped in the small blind with a pair in his hand.
Here's the flop. A pair of 8s with a jack.
So Frankie out front with the 8s and 6s, but Joe reaching for chips.
And he's going to bet.
Well, he bets $50,000, just the minimum bet into this pot.
And a quick fold by Frankie O'Dell.
And I'm surprised that Frankie O'Dell wouldn't test him there at least, Vince.
Give credit to Joe Pelton. You know, he sees a little weakness with just ace high. He's going to bet it. This kid is impressive.
My name is Joe Pelton. I'm from Waterloo, Iowa, but I currently live in Newport Beach, California. I got into this tournament by winning a $500 satellite. I really started playing poker was when I saw the very first World Poker Tour, and I thought that was like a really cool thing. So I started playing. I quit my job. I was a professional poker player for about 8 months, but it didn't really work out for me. I didn't really like playing poker every day. Just sort of the grind of it all wasn't fun. Being here at the final table, This is a lot of fun, but I don't want to be a professional poker player. It's really surreal to me, this whole experience, because someone like me now is going to be watching TV and see me at the final table. Like, I'm the same guy I was 3 days ago when no one had ever heard of me. And I hope I don't do anything stupid on national television.
Vince, here's a guy that actually says he doesn't want to become a poker pro. He'd much rather be a businessman and just play as an enthusiastic amateur. You got to like the guy for that. 4 players left, and you're going for $1.6 million and a WPT title.
He is playing some game tonight. Good poker face.
Action's going to be on our chip leader, Frankie Odell. Looks down at a Jack-9 of diamonds, but opts not to play. He's taking a conservative route. Looks like he just wants to try to keep his chips, get heads up, and play for this title. Take home at least $750,000.
But look at Hoyt Corkins, the cowboy, with 8-7 of spades. He's going to bump it up.
Hoyt makes it $130,000 to go here. Got the suited connectors. He's got position, so he raises it on the button.
And now Kevin O'Donnell with a 9-6 of clubs. He elects to fold. It's on Mr. Newport Beach here, Joe, who has a 9-7 of hearts.
Also the kind of hand you don't mind taking a flop with.
Made it small enough, Hoyt, I call.
And Joe is going to take the flop. He makes the call. So two-way action. It's 9-7 for Joe, 8-7 for Hoyt. Folks, it just shows you don't need aces and kings to play no limit hold'em.
Joe just staring down the cowboy, and look at this flop. It's a 6-3 deuce. No real help for either player.
Well, Kevin O'Donnell wishing he was back in there. He'd have flopped top pair and a flush draw. And Joe checks. Now around to Hoyt. Got about the worst hand you could have at this stage, an 8 high. But it didn't slow Hoyt down. He's going to bet $210,000. Put the pressure right on his opponent.
He's a fearless cowboy. We've seen him before make these kind of moves, and it's going to work.
Yep, Joe lays down the hand.
Oh, yeah, he just lassoed the little lamb out there. The Alabama cowboy, Hoyt Corkins, stealing again. And in the old days, they used to get you up to Boot Hill for that.
You know, we should call Hoyt a chip rustler. He rustles up a lot of chips.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
With that pot, he crosses the $2 million chip mark for the first time.
Take a look at Hoyt's cards. Through the WPT cam brought to us by Budweiser.
I can't even see his cards with all those chips in front of him. Pushes them out of the way.
Got ace-7 this time.
Yeah, he's going to lay him down and go back to stacking chips.
All right, and Kevin O'Donnell has an ace-4.
We got your chance to get even here.
And he's going to raise it here. Makes it $200,000 to go.
Into Joe Pelton. Mr. Newport Beach, he's got a big hand. Ace-10 of hearts.
All in.
And he says all in.
Wow, a daring move by the youngster here. Still got the chip leader behind him and a guy that raised in front of him, yet coming over the top and going all in with the ace-10.
Frankie goes out, back on Kevin.
Just getting slapped around here.
He's accurate about that.
As the cards lie, though, just another perfectly timed move by Joe Pelton. Kevin makes a good lay down there.
Well, what's interesting tonight was just seeing Kevin looking frustrated because he always seems to be making these moves, and then guys coming over the top to force him to go out. But you know, you got to give credit to a guy like Kevin O'Donnell. He's a very, very aggressive player who's not afraid to push.
So Joe Pelton may be an amateur and the most inexperienced player at this table, but Vince, he doesn't look like it right now. I got to tell you the truth.
4 players remain. This is a good one. Who's going to become the next millionaire on the World Poker Tour? We're coming right back. Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. The Legends of Poker continues. We are down to 4 players. Frankie Odell still with the chip lead with about $3.8 million. And Kevin O'Donnell is the short stack at this point with close to $1.5 million.
Well, that's not so short, Vince. You got $1.5 million. Yep. You got a great shot to take this title.
Back down to the money pit. It is going to be on Kevin O'Donnell to act first.
Well, he looks down at 76 trombones. And he's going to limp in and call with it.
Joe Pelton.
Start smooth calling everything, so if somebody comes over the top, I can throw it away.
Goes out with a queen 8. Frankie Odell has picked up ace-queen of diamonds.
Well, he saw his opponent limp in here. Figures he has the best hand. Indeed, he does so far. Makes it $250 to go.
And now Hoyt's got a king-7 of spades.
Now Hoyt lays his hand down.
All in.
Wow, look at this. Kevin O'Donnell making a move here, going all in with a 7-6 offsuit.
What a move Kevin's trying here.
Well, Vince, there's a saying in poker, beware the limper. Kevin trying to represent he's got aces or kings here.
Call.
Oh, but look at this, a quick call by Frankie Odell.
Well, Frankie Odell read him perfectly there. He's making the call with the ace-queen of diamonds.
Good call.
And indeed, he is in great shape right now. A 2-1 favorite to win this pot.
Oh, a complete debacle here for Kevin O'Donnell. He has stepped into it. He's been called down. And now we have 5 cards to come. Can he get lucky? Here we go.
Good luck, buddy.
Look at his flop.
Well, Frankie Odell has hit the top pair. He's hit 2 queens. He shoots his arms up in exuberation. And right now he's saying no 6 and no 7. He didn't want to have to sweat a river card. Just wants to end it right here. Look at Frankie. He's conducting an orchestra here, Vince.
Oh, man, it's like he's on some type of game show.
Well, it is a game, Vince. For $1.6 million they're playing for.
Give me a vowel.
Card!
Here's the turn. It's a 6.
Well, he's trying to lead the band, but it's not working. The 6 peels off on the turn, meaning Kevin O'Donnell is still alive.
Like the 7.
He can catch a 6 or a 7 to win this pot. Never easy, Frankie. You should know that as long as you've been around.
Kevin needs the suck out card. Chanting in paradise here.
Here comes the river card. It's a 9 of spades. So Frankie Odell has won it. He has knocked out another player at this final table and has taken a massive chip lead with 3 players left.
Oh, man. Complete devastation for Kevin O'Donnell. Blown away like a bad toupee. But he's going to walk away with $226,000.
Vince, you know, Kevin tried to make a lot of moves tonight. Just seemed like they were always at the wrong time. But you got to hand it to this guy. For the 2nd year in a row, he's made the final table of the Legends of Poker.
As soon as you call up 40, that money's gone.
Yeah.
Just raise it, Frank. Sure enough, you popped it, and then we move all in. And all the money's going to your stack right away. No
It was easy. It was an easy one.
money in the bank, man.
So you made a big move with 7-6. I mean, you must have thought he was going to fold.
Well, he'd been running over me all night. I thought, you know, he was just playing with me. He had a lot of chips he could play around with. I didn't think he'd throw $1 million of them away, and he didn't. He had a legitimate hand. So picked the wrong time to make my move, and I got caught.
This is your 2nd year playing in Legends of Poker. I mean, that's a great, great accomplishment.
Yeah, first would have been better.
And the body count continues to grow here at the Bicycle Casino. We are down to 3 players.
Next guy out's going to get over $380,000. Runner-up is going to get over $776,000. So huge jump in prize money right now.
Back to the table on Frankie. He's got over $5 million now. Quickly folds an 8-5.
Hoyt Corkins with the Queen 7 offsuit limps in the small blind. And Joe Pelton with a miserable 9 deuce offsuit.
200 more.
He's going to raise it $200,000. Just take that, cowboy.
Well, he sees a little weakness there. And it's going to work.
Well, he just sensed Hoyt was trying to see a cheap flop. Indeed, that was the case. He just took the pot right away from him, Vince. That is savvy play. Many people, when they're sitting in the big blind, are just happy to get a free flop when you get a 9 deuce offsuit. This kid recognized the opportunity to pick up the money that was laying out there by raising, suspecting Hoyt didn't have that strong a hand because he didn't raise.
You know, he didn't play poker till just a few years ago. He watched the World Poker Tour, and now he's going after millions.
So we taught him how to play, Vince.
I guess so.
Hey, maybe we'll get a kickback if he wins this thing.
All right, action on Hoyt. He quickly folds his hand, and now Joe Pelton looks down at a King 8 offsuit.
Joe, don't forget your teachers if you win this. All right, well, Joe probably recognizes that King High is a favorite hand over a random hand, and he's going to raise it, makes it $175,000 to go.
Yeah, he is changing gears very nicely. And now Frankie Odell looks down at a pair of queens, though.
$800,000.
Well, he belts out an $800,000 verbal bet. Verbal bets are binding. You don't physically have to push the chips in the pot for it to be a bet. Whatever you declare is a bet. In this case, it was $800,000. And that's a little too much for Joe. He evacuates the premises.
Oh, yeah, and the flags come out. The cheering section.
Now, Miss, you think that was a tell there a little bit, though? When a guy announces the raise and doesn't push him out there, it means he doesn't want to waste his strength to push him out and pull him back.
Well, you know, there was no hesitation by Frankie either. He looked down his cards, a very strong voice.
So limping was more fun. We'll try that next time.
Said 800,000. Very intimidating.
Whatever you want to try. You do try the 6-7.
The rich get richer.
I won't try that one on you.
I'm just saying.
3 players remain. It's up for grabs. Stay tuned. We're coming right back. 3 players remain in the Legends of Poker. 460 players started this event. Where the winner's going to take home $1.6 million.
Hoyt Corkins going for his second World Poker Tour title tonight.
Let's go back down to the table. It's on Hoyt. He's got 10-7.
Yeah, he's going to make it $130,000 to go.
Into Joe. Joe's got king 8 of spades.
Call.
And Joe's going to call this. And the chip leader, Frankie, looks at a 6-4, gets out of the way.
Well, he's just going to let them two guys tangle. Hope one of them wins the pot, and he can get down playing heads up for this title with more than half the chips.
So 10-7 versus king 8.
The flop is king, queen 3. Nice flop for Joe. He's flopped top pair. Let's see how he's going to play it. He checks.
Oh, and Hoyt just can't help himself. He's got to bet with his nothing hand. He bets $200,000.
600.
Oh, there's the re-raise.
Here's the check raise. That's how you play an aggressive player like Hoyt. You check it to him and let him hang himself.
Like a big old rat trap. How does that feel snapping on your cowboy hand?
Now, Vince, that's knowing your opponent. That's knowing when a guy's an aggressive player. He raised before the flop. You figure he's going to bet on the flop, so go ahead and check raise him with a top pair. There's the case. Had he let out and bet, he wouldn't have made that $200,000.
Crafty play by Joe Pelton, the 29-year-old business analyst for an insurance company. And don't forget, he only started playing a few years ago when he was watching the World Poker Tour on season 1. And now he's going after millions.
You know, Vince, he says if he wins this tournament and the $1.6 million, he's going to buy a house in Newport Beach down there. But what kind of house can you buy down there for $1.6 million?
Get a very nice tent, I know that. All right, action's going to be on Frankie Odell. He looks down at a pair of 3s.
About as conservative as you can get. He calls on the button with a pair.
3-handed now. Hoyt Corkins with queen 6 goes out. Joe Pelton now with the big blind has a miserable looking 5-3 offsuit.
He says give us a flop.
He's getting in cheap, as we call it.
Joe with the 5-3, Frankie with the 2-3s. Here comes a flop. Now flop king jack 7 with 2 spades. Joe quickly checks, and Frankie checks right behind him.
We are going to the turn here. It's another jack, pairs the board.
Joe is reaching for chips here. He has absolutely nothing, but he's going to bet $100,000 anyway.
He's just going to try to muscle the chip leader. Acting oh so casual after that.
Well, will Frankie suspect larceny here? Well, he only had $50,000 invested. He just didn't want to go any further with the 2-3s. Gives it up. But again, Joe Pelton earning the pot by making a bet with the worst hand and taking it down.
Well, no more cheap poker because the antes and blinds are going up. That's right, $10,000 antes, and the blinds are going to be $40,000 and $80,000. Very expensive.
Well, it sure is. $150,000 in blinds and antes every 3 deals.
Action on Frankie Odell, quickly folding a queen 8. Hoyt Corkins with 8-6 is going to make a call, and Joe Pelton with 5 deuce is not going to get fancy. Says, let's see the flop.
And the flop comes jack, 5 deuce. Joe Pelton has flopped 2 pair.
Eureka.
Action's on Hoyt. Now, Hoyt's going to take a stab at this pot, hoping his opponent doesn't have a jack in his hand, or none of that helped him, but little does he know, his opponent has flopped 2 pair.
Well, he bets $100,000 into Joe.
300.
He's doing handstands there. Look at this. He's going to make a raise, though. Makes it $300,000.
You might be wondering why he's not slow playing this a little bit more, because there's a potential flush and a potential straight on the board.
And Joe's going to take it down.
Doesn't want to trap himself where he ends up losing the big pot.
Definitely went the conservative route. Now look at the wonder cam. If he just played it slow and just called it, a king comes up and then a 4. So nothing fancy there for Hoyt. A lot of players will say, well, you got to raise him in case the guy's 4 flushing or outdraws you. But in a 3-handed poker game, you're always taking chances.
So you like walking the dog?
So to speak, yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Well, Joe Pelton's chip graph is going up, Vince. He is chopping away, as we say right now.
Well, he's got a real chance at this title and the money tonight. Another millionaire about to be made on the World Poker Tour.
2 pros, 1 amateur, fighting it out for this title.
And let's go to Newport Beach with Joe Pelton. 10-6, won't play this one.
And Frankie Odell in the small blind looks down a queen 4 spade. He's going to limp in and make the call.
Very gentle chip lead, I'll tell you that much. Now Hoyt Corkins right behind him with a 7 deuce offsuit.
Checking.
And Hoyt checks it.
Very content to see 3 cards.
Flop is king 5-3 with 2 hearts. No help to either player.
Not at all. Check. And Frankie, no magic there. He checks. And Hoyt's got, you know, he just doesn't learn his lesson. Just must bet.
Well, this is a nice bet here because it's going to win him the pot, Vince.
And that's why he keeps betting with nothing, you know? You keep doing that, yeah, you're going to get caught a few times, but most of the time, you're going to be winning pots.
Power that one, Hoyt.
Yeah, Frankie smiles.
That sounds good in there.
Just has a real good hunch that indeed Hoyt was stealing that pot, but Frankie just not looking to mix it up right now. He's got a beautiful chip lead here over these guys. Doesn't want to do anything stupid. Remember, the runner-up gets nearly $800,000. The winner over $1.6 million, so a lot on the line for these guys here.
This is fun. The Legends of Poker continues. Don't go away. We're coming back with more. Welcome back to the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California.
3 players left fighting it out for $1.6 million first prize. Our chip leader is Frankie Odell. He came to this final table with a big chip lead. He has maintained it. Second place, the youngster, the 29-year-old amateur Joe Pelton, and Hoyt Corkins going for his second WPT title tonight, sitting on about $1.5 million.
And it is up to Hoyt Corkins, who looks down at his suited connected 9, 8 of spades. Makes it $200,000. Joe quickly folds.
Now over to Frankie Odell, who's in the big blind. He's only got the 10-7 of diamonds.
It cost him an additional $120,000 to make this call.
All in.
Whoa. Oh, forget about calling, Vince. He's gone all in.
What is this?
On a 10-7. Just an amazing play. And there's no way Hoyt's going to be able to call with this hand. I wouldn't think. You just can't call your chips off with a 9 high.
Well, he's got about $1.3 million left.
You might move in with them, but tough to call with it.
What a move. And I'll tell you something about Frankie Odell. He might be conservative, he's tight, but he's also a great reader of people.
Frankie is a real tough man to herd around. I'm telling you, he when he gets his mind made up to play a hand, you just got to get out of the way unless you're there.
A local from Long Beach, California. Lots of friends in the stands rooting him on. He's got great momentum right now. Re-raised to put all the money up there with just the 10-7. What a good hunch he had on Hoyt.
Action's going to be on Joe Pelton.
This time Joe looks down at a Jack 10 with the button.
250.
And he's going to make a raise with it. Goes up to $250,000. Frankie Odell. He's got ace deuce offsuit.
Well, he's going to lay it down, wait for a better spot.
So the one to beat is Hoyt, and Hoyt's got a pair of 3s. He says all in.
Well, he's pulling the move the Costa Ricans like to do, move over the top and all in with a small pair.
Game's loosened up.
Now Joe has, a pretty unspectacular Jack 10.
I bet it's going to cost him another $1 million to call.
Gets up from out of his seat. Hoyt figuring, you know what, I don't want this guy to call. I got a little pair. I want to take the pot right now, and I have just the right amount to make him go out.
Joe's calculating all that up. There's about $1.5 million in the pot right now. Going to cost him another $1 million to make the call. So he's getting 3-2 odds on his money. Well, the crowd egging him on. Shoot the cowboy. If he makes the call and loses the pot, he won't be eliminated. But still a very difficult call to make for another $1 million when you just have Jack high.
I've never seen a guy get up from the table, look it over, and then fold. Most of the times when a man gets up from the table and really studies it, he's going to make a call. Let's see if I'm correct.
There's a few spots in a tournament that we call critical time. This is one of those right now for Joe Pelton.
I'm going to gamble with you, Hoyt. I call.
He's done it.
He's doing it. You're right, Vince. He made the call. So far tonight, his timing has been flawless. Every decision he's made has been correct. Let's see if this one is. We're in a race situation. Hoyt with the 2 3s. Joe Pelton with the 2 overcards. He's got the Jack 10. Hoyt Corkins must win this pot to keep his hopes of becoming a 2-time WPT champion alive. Just an amazing call by this 29-year-old with a Jack high. Now let's see if he can win the pot.
Oh, man, the glasses go off from Hoyt. Here come the first 3. Oh, Jack!
Jack 10 deuce. Hoyt Corkins stands up. The youngster has hit 2 pair on the flop. He's got the top 2.
What a horrible flop there for Hoyt Corkins.
Frankie Odell celebrating that flop. And look, Vince, he's over talking to one of his mentors, Johnny Chan himself. Certainly not over yet for Hoyt. He can catch a 3 to take the lead and 2 running diamonds to make a flush. Well, the 5 of spades comes off at the turn. So Hoyt Corkins is going to have to do a Doug Flutie impression here, Vince, and hit the Hail Mary if he wants to stay alive.
Oh, he needs a tremendous suck out. Here's the river card. He didn't get it.
It's the ace of clubs. All you can do is say, wow, look at the call that kid made there. Incredible. I couldn't have made it for $1 million.
The legendary player Hoyt Corkins picks up $381,000, but the cattle drive is definitely over for this cowboy.
He's going to have to wait to make it to yet another WPT final table before he captures that second WPT title.
So you went in with pocket 3s. Now, did you think he was going to call you there?
Well, actually, I didn't know. I thought that if he did call, I'd be in a coin flip. But he did make the call. It was a good call with the Jack 10 offsuit. I don't really know if I could have made that call, but it was a good call.
We all think that you played really well today, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you at a final table very soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
And here come the Zions Energy girls with plenty of smiles and plenty of cash. These guys are going to divide up $2.5 million between them, and here it comes onto the table.
This is what it is all about. Get 460 players together, have them all put up 10,000 each, and chop it up at the very end.
Well, they're bringing out the cash, the customized chip set. It's all on the line, over 800,000 difference between first and second place.
One of them's going to walk away with $1.6 million at the Legends of Poker at the Bicycle Casino. We're down to 2. Stay tuned. We're coming right back with more action on the World Poker Tour.
Bad beats, they happen. You know, you got to keep them in perspective. I mean, after all, we're playing a game.
A nightmare flop for Kenneth James. He says, why? How can this happen? Please don't punish me for making a great call.
There's not just bad beats, there's great moments.
That's why they call this guy Lucky Juice. And look at the pain and agony on the face of Kenneth James.
It's all part of the game. You know, once you release those chips in the pot, it's out of your control. And so don't take it so personally. You know, don't blame the dealer, don't blame the other players, don't blame bad luck.
And folks, if you don't like a little pain once in a while, poker's probably not your game, because as you can see, you're gonna get it.
Sometimes it doesn't work out just the way you want it, but tomorrow's another day, another tournament. It's all in the cards, baby.
For more great poker tips, log on to world.poker.tour.s05e02.
Welcome back to Bicycle Casino, where we are about to see some in-your-face heads-up action.
Well, as we start out heads-up play, our current chip leader is Frankie Odell. He's got a little over $5.6 million in chips, and Joe Pelton has about $3.6 million in chips.
Action's going to be on Frankie. He's got a 10-9 offsuit.
Well, he limps in on the button, and Joe Pelton with a 10-deuce offsuit says, give us a flop. And Vince, you got to take your hat off to Frankie. It looked like he was playing very conservative all night, came to the final table with a big chip lead. Looked like he was just trying to get in a heads-up position where he could win this title. He has not only done it, he has done it with a $2 million chip lead. Oh, the flop has come 10-9-4.
Uh-oh.
Joe's flopped top pair. Frankie has flopped top 2 pair.
Joe quickly checks, and Frankie's getting out chips. What a dream flop for him. That's a $100,000 bet.
If Joe Pelton check raises here, it could spell doom for him.
Call.
And he just calls, doesn't check raise. And Vince is just about drawing dead here. And here comes the turn card. The queen comes off again. Joe checks.
300,000.
Well, Frankie's going to bet 300,000 this time.
Oh man, he is going to try to milk the Holstein right here.
Well, with the overcard out there, could Joe possibly get away from this hand? He's got 2 10s, remember? But his opponent has 10s and 9s. He's drawing dead to win the pot. He could split the pot if a queen came up.
Oh, wow.
Joe is just going down the ramp the wrong way right now. He's getting out chips here.
Oh, man. Joe in a bad place right now. He's made this call. What a quagmire this young guy is in right now. Coming to the river.
He cannot catch a card to win it. Here comes that river card. Well, the 5 of clubs comes up.
He's still a big sitting duck here. Now Joe is checked.
400,000.
Frankie's going to bet 400,000 this time. Just a nice value bet, as we say right here.
Call.
And a quick call by Joe.
And he got paid off with the 2 pair.
Oh, wow, that stings.
And Vince, he got wonderful value bets in there all the way. He didn't move all in. He didn't attack with giant bets, just enough that his opponent would call on each street. Well played by Frankie O'Dell there.
Yeah, it was just dissected. Unraised before the flop, anything can happen. And right there, Joe Pelton taking some serious punishment.
Could have busted easy on that one.
You turn a queen.
And a good hand.
You turn a queen.
So Frankie O'Dell winning over 800,000 in that pot from his opponent to pad his chip lead even further.
Now you gotta think if you're Joe Pelton, gotta control your temperament, slow down, try not to steam, get back in the action because that one hurt. Action's gotta be on Joe.
Call.
He's looking at a Jack-3 of hearts and he's gonna make this call.
Well, he limps in on the button, as we say. And Frankie with the Queen 4 offsuit says, okay, give us a flop. Flop comes 10, 6, 5 with 2 spades, no help to either player.
Frankie quickly checking.
And Joe Pelton reaching for chips. He bets 100,000.
How about this bet with absolutely zip and pip?
Well, Frankie's going to lay his hand down. So round 1 of this heads-up battle, Frankie O'Dell got a knockout blow in, or at least a knockdown. But right there, Joe Pelton got a jab in, Vince.
Yeah,
he took down the pot.
He's showing some good character. He didn't steam. He made a strong bet. He didn't tilt. He kept his emotions in check. Very nicely done by Joe Pelton, who once again got in this tournament through a satellite.
$500 satellite to be exact. Could parlay that into 1.6 million here.
By the way, he has a good poker face. You know, you couldn't tell that he took such a hit on that very first hand in heads-up action. It's going to be on the professional Frankie O'Dell out of Long Beach, California. With the button, he's got Queen Jack this time. He's got about twice as many chips now as his opponent.
Well, he's getting out some raising chips here.
No more friendly?
Can't blame him for raising with Queen Jack on the button if he does so. And he is going to raise it, a healthy raise at that. Comes in for 340,000.
And this is a guy that hates to raise before the flop no matter what he has. He's making a move here. Now Joe Pelton has a pretty decent King 10 offsuit.
I'm going to call.
And he's going to make the call.
So 700,000 in that pot right now. Joe with the King 10, Frankie with the Queen Jack. Here comes the flop. Well, the flop is Ace, King, King with the Ace, King of spade.
Joe Pelton hitting 3 of a kind, 3 kings, of course.
Now, action is on, Joe.
500,000.
He's going to bet $500,000.
Well, Vince, I'm amazed by this bet. Why would you lead out here in this spot when the guy raised before the flop? You've got to check to him here, don't you? And give him a chance to bet this hand.
Well, you would think. Now, he looks most likely he's going to chase Frankie away. He's just got an inside straight draw.
You had an ace. You're just going to smooth call. Timeout. Okay, you can win. Nice job.
Well, Frankie gives it up. A nice laydown by Frankie O'Dell there. But Vince, a very puzzling bet on the flop, in my opinion, by Joe Pelton there. Why wouldn't you check that hand? You got the dream flop. You got an aggressive player, a guy who raised before the flop. Why not check it to him and just let him continue to take the lead?
He chased him away. Now, a sneaky bet like such as a $200,000 bet can make Frankie maybe do a few things. But that bet was horrific, and I think he's going to pay for it. Back to the action is right back on him. And I think he's got to be thinking that to himself right now.
Well, he's got an ace high here in a heads-up situation. Yet he just calls here. Vince does not raise it. Limps in with the ace high.
Ace deuce, Frankie O'Dell with 8-7.
Well, Frankie happy to see a flop for free. So here comes that flop. And the flop is 6-4-4 with 2 diamonds. Action on Frankie O'Dell. He's got a gut shot straight draw.
200,000.
And he's going to bet 200,000.
And just like that, Joe chucking the cards before Frankie get his chips in.
Well, Vince, you don't know if he's mad that he didn't raise with the ace high before the flop there, or if he's still thinking about that last pot where he let out with 3 kings.
Well, he's starting to let his emotions show now. He's shaking his head a little bit. He's got to be questioning this for a long time, and he's played impeccably tonight. So you can't say he's not an excellent poker player, but that was a major blunder we saw, and, you know, he's got to be thinking about it.
When you catch hands, you have to get value out of them. You have to make money with the good hands when you flop them and when you get them. Both these guys enjoying the moment, and why not? The worst they're going to do is take home $776,000 tonight, and they could take home over $1.6 million and a WPT title.
All right, action on Frankie Odell. Very unimpressive Jack-4 in his hand, but it's of hearts, not too bad.
Well, he's going to limp in on the button, make the call.
Newport Joe looking at Queen 8.
He says, give us a flop. Here's the flop. It's come Queen, Queen 4. Again, Joe Pelton flops trips.
100.
And again, he's going to lead out and bet.
Oh, he did not listen to us. He's coming out to bet his 3 of a kind once again.
Well, that's a little different scenario.
Gonna raise it.
And look at this. Frankie with 2 4s is going to raise him, Vince.
He's saying you can't be that dumb to bet 3 of a kind if you had it. I think I'm in front.
He's going to pry and try to get some information as to whether his opponent's really got a hand or not here. So he's going to raise it $250,000. Now Joe Pelton has got to be loving this. Now how does he want to play the 3 queens? That's the question. Do you just call here?
750.
He's going to re-raise it. He's going to make it $750,000 to go.
Oh, he's stepping up the ladder. Joe Pelton.
So it's been bet, raised, and re-raised so far. Action's back on Frankie. Now, Vince, when this happens, you have to put your opponent on a queen. Pretty easy laydown, I would think, here.
Unless you think this guy couldn't be betting the 3 of a kind. Maybe he's on a flush draw. Maybe you're in front still with your 4s.
I'm all in.
Oh, man, he's going over the top.
He's gone all in, and Joe Pelton quickly calling him, and you see Frankie. He is a sick pup right now, Vince.
Absolute disaster for Frankie Odell. He's kicking himself.
Well, he should be kicking himself, Vince. He just didn't think that out properly there. I like the first raise because it gave him the information he was looking for. When his opponent re-raised him, he's got to know 2 4s aren't good anymore. Just get away from the hand, abandon ship.
Can't win, can't win.
Instead, he's going to double his opponent up. The only way he can win this spot is to catch 2 running hearts here that don't pair the board.
Frankie squirming.
It could come 4-4, where he'd make 4 of a kind, but things are looking very slim right now for Frankie Odell in this pot. He's got nobody to blame for it but himself.
Remember all that stuff we were talking about, how stupid it is to bet the 3 of a kind? We take that all back. Here comes the turn.
The 10 of spade comes off. Joe knows he's going to double up now. And Frankie Odell is going to take the tip of that derby and hide it over his eyes here for a few moments to try to hide his tears.
Well, this is the kind of player that's been playing on reading opponents correctly all night, using his gut instinct. His instinct was he was in front. He went with it, but he's going to pay the ultimate price, a huge pot.
Well, another 10 comes off. That gives Joe a full house. Queens full of 10s. He is going to double up here.
Oh, it is flip-flop in a big way. The amateur player, Joe Pelton now, our chip leader.
Well, Vince, I got to say that's the first mistake, and a big mistake, that we've seen Frankie make at this final table.
And Frankie looks half dead right there. Look at him.
If he loses this tournament, Vince, he's going to look back on that hand and say, what was I thinking? Why did I get all my money in with that hand?
Thank you.
The battles are over, but the war has just begun. Heads-up action continues right after this.
We are back at the Legends of Poker. 2 players continue to fight for this title and the $1.6 million.
And for the first time tonight, we have a new chip leader at this final table. Joe Pelton, the amateur player, 29-year-old from Newport Beach, California. Frankie Odell, the pro, down to $2.8 million. Can the pro rebound from what we thought was a bad mistake in that last pot?
It is on Frankie. Oh, look at this hand, a pair of queens.
Well, he's just limping in with him, Vince, trying to trap Joe for however many chips he can get him for here. Joe not going for it. He says, give us a flop.
Well, Joe's got just a Jack-4. Let's take a look at this flop.
Oh, a dream flop for Frankie. He's flopped queens full of deuces. Wow.
Joe hit nothing here.
100.
But he's going to bet.
100.
He's going to sweeten the pot with a $100,000 bet.
Frankie is just going to call here. He's just going to hope his opponent continues to bet at this pot. Just going to let him have the lead, and why not? You got top set, you got top full.
And the hand is over the face because, you know, he's trying to suppress the laughter. 7 on the turn. Didn't help Joe.
Joe's going to back off now.
But Frankie not touching it, trying to trap one more time. He's checked it. River card, a 10 of hearts.
Well, Frankie hoping his opponent had a flush draw now.
Anything. It's on Joe first. Is he going to take another stab at this? No, he checks it.
And he's done with this hand, Vince. Now, Frankie going to try to get a value bet in here. Betting just 100,000.
Oh, a little tickler.
Just praying Joe will play this pot, but Joe says good hand. He doesn't know how good it was.
One of those times where you win a couple 100,000. You're Frankie Odell, but you're miserable because you wanted the whole thing. You wanted a couple $1 million bet.
Not his fault. He'd hit all he could. Joe just would not fall in any traps there.
Well, the pressure continues at the Legends of Poker, and the pressure is going to get a little more intense because the antes and blinds are going up. $15,000 antes and $60 and $120 for the blinds.
Joe Pelton sitting there dreaming about capturing this WPT title. Got in this tournament on a $500 satellite and now is at a final table going for $1.6 million.
All right, let's take a look at the cards. Joe Pelton with a 9-deuce offsuit. His turn to act.
400 total.
Well, he's going to raise it now, man, so he is just feeling it all right now.
Yeah, he goes up to 400,000 into Frankie.
Now, these guys don't raise with ace highs. They don't raise with 2 queens. They raise with 9 deuces.
Frankie has 5 deuce. He cannot play. Lays it down, so Joe Pelton showing a different gear there.
And so far, Joe Pelton's timing is about perfect. You got to know if you're sitting in Frankie's seat, not the time to panic. 1 double up will put you in the chip lead.
And it's going to be on Frankie. Long Beach, California. Has King 8 this time offsuit. He's going to raise it.
And he's going to make it $390,000 to go. Joe Pelton just has a Queen 8 offsuit here.
All in.
He says all in.
Wow, he's gone all in here, Vince, with Queen 8. Unbelievable. We can see Frankie has him dominated here. But folks, believe me, when you make it $390,000 to go and your opponent moves all in over the top for $2.6 million more, and that's all you have left, it is tough to call with King 8.
What a move this is by Joe. And it's going to work.
Well, they're all trying to play another one. Too bad he did so, because he was a dominating favorite there had he played that one. But what a move by this amateur, Vince. To move all in that spot right there with a Queen 8 offsuit after your opponent's raised in front of you. Whew.
Well, what's interesting is Frankie has not raised when he's had real hands, and when he has not so good hands, he raises. And maybe Joe's onto that, realizing this guy's not that strong. This is the way he plays. It's a little bit of a tell, and he took advantage of it. Well, the business analyst for an insurance company in Newport Beach, California, showing great game here tonight. It's going to be once again on Joe.
Yeah, he looks down at ace-7 of clubs here. Nice hand in a heads-up situation, and he's going to raise it.
Yeah, he goes up to 400,000, it looks like.
I'm all in.
Frankie Odell with the pair of sixes says all in.
I call.
But Joe quickly calls him.
Wow.
Doesn't bat an eye to call him with the ace-7, even though the raise was over $2 million. Frankie Odell has the 2 sixes. They're a slight favorite to win this pot. His problem is if he loses it, it's over.
Now what a call by Joe Pelton, not taking much time. Now this is a big re-raise, close to $2 million. Joe is not pot committed by any means, and he elected to call it quickly.
Well, he's on a roll, Vince. So Joe Pelton, the amateur player, the Cinderella story tonight. If he wins this hand, he will take home $1.6 million and a coveted WPT title. Who's going to win this race? Here comes the flop. And there it is. He's hit it again.
Yes.
And you can see Frankie Odell's heartbreak when that ace popped off of there. He had a chance to even this matchup as the sixes stand up. Now he's got to catch a 6 on the turn of the river. or it's over.
And Joe Pelton can't believe it. He's out in front with his pair of aces.
All he's got to do is dodge a 6, and he's our champion.
Here comes the turn.
Well, it's a deuce. So Frankie Odell must catch a 6 to stay alive.
We are down to the river card for Frankie Odell. The dream slipping away from massive chip leader to 1 card away from being body bagged out of here. And Joe Pelton, the amateur player from Newport Beach, California, do this. Here comes 5th Street.
The Queen of Spades.
He's done it.
The amateur who got in this tournament on a $500 satellite, taking home over $1.6 million. And Frankie's still stunned, Vince, that he doubled his opponent up a while back and could just never recover from that.
And look at Joe Pelton, our champion. Big hug with the girlfriend. What a moment here at the Bicycle Casino. Joe wiping the tears away.
Joe Pelton from Newport Beach, California is our champion.
Yowza. We'll take.
Before we get to our champion, let's speak a minute to our runner-up, Frankie Odell. Frankie, you came into this final table as our chip leader. You played great poker all week long. One mistake seemed to do you in. You lost the final race, of course. But really, all in all, pretty good week. Nearly $800,000 you're taking home.
Yeah, it was a good week, and I came in here today confident, and I played as best as I could. Like you said, I made one bad read, but that's all it takes in this game. One little slip up, and boom, the coin flips.
Well, Frankie, you had a great week. You're runner-up here. I'm sure we're going to see you back at a WPT final table before too long. And now, let's talk to our champion from Newport Beach, California, Joe Pelton. Joe, come on over here. Joe, I'll tell you, you came to this final table as the youngest player at the table and probably the least experienced player at the table. But Vince and I were commenting all day long. You look calm, cool, and collected throughout this final table. What a show you put on. You got to be feeling pretty good right now.
I do feel pretty good right now, Mike. It was just, this whole day has just been like a dream. All my hands held up today. I won all the races. Every time I made a marginal call, it held up. It's just, the whole day's been great.
Well, timing is everything in poker, and certainly your timing was flawless tonight. Joe Pelton, our champion, congratulations one more time. And now, as the custom on the World Poker Tour, it's time to toast our champion with Budweiser, the official beer of the World Poker Tour. Here's to the champion of the World Poker Tour's Legends of Poker, Joe Pelton. For Vince Van Patten, Sabina Gadecki, and everyone at the World Poker Tour, I'm Mike Sexton saying thanks for watching. And until next time, may all your cards be live and your pots be monsters. I don't understand what this is for here.